My name is Vanessa Reynolds and I married Eric when I was young and full of dreams. We'd been high school sweethearts and I thought we'd be happy forever. My father, Franklin Morgan, a successful businessman who founded the luxury furniture brand Morgan Craft, gave us a Hampton-style house in an upscale neighborhood as a wedding gift. 3 years after the wedding, our son Tyler was born. As the years passed, I threw myself into being the perfect housewife and mother. I kept our home spotless, cooked gourmet meals, and made sure Tyler had everything he needed while secretly maintaining my anonymous interior design blog at night when everyone was asleep. Eric's career as a sales manager wasn't progressing as quickly as he'd hoped, though his Instagram feed painted a different picture with carefully staged success shots that I helped compose. One night he came home frustrated and angry. "Damn it, Vanessa. I can't take this anymore. I'm busting my ass at work and for what? Pennies." He slammed his fist on the kitchen table, making me jump, my heart racing with sudden fear. "What do you want me to do about it?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm while discreetly closing my laptop where I'd been working on a new design post. Eric's eyes lit up. "Your father. He could give me a job at Morgan Craft, a senior position. You could talk to him, couldn't you? With my MBA, I'd be perfect for management," Eric said. I hesitated. My father had always been fair in his business dealings, and I didn't want to take advantage of our relationship. Besides, I knew Eric's MBA was from an unaccredited online university, something he carefully concealed. But seeing the desperation in his eyes, and remembering my mother's painful divorce when I was young, I nodded. "Okay, I'll talk to him," I replied. The next day I visited my father at his office, nervously fingering the design sketches I kept in my purse but never showed anyone. "Dad, I need to ask you something," I began nervously. "It's about Eric. He's not happy with his job, and I was wondering if you might have a position for him here at Morgan Craft." After a long moment, my father nodded, his eyes briefly glancing at the corner of my sketchbook peeking out of my purse. "All right. I'll give him a shot, but he'll have to prove himself like anyone else, Vanessa," he said. When I told Eric the news, he was ecstatic. He picked me up and spun me around the kitchen. "You're amazing, Vanessa. This is going to change everything for us. I can't wait till I post about this on LinkedIn," he said. And for a while, it did. Eric started earning more money, and our financial worries eased. That night, he took a photo of us celebrating with champagne for his Instagram, captioned #BlessedLife #PowerCouple. But as one problem faded, another grew in its place, my relationship with Eric's mother, Patricia. Patricia was a force of nature, fiercely protective of her only son and openly disapproving of me. She arrived unannounced for the dinner party I was hosting for Eric's colleagues, her critical eyes assessing everything from my table setting to my outfit choice. "Did you really choose that centerpiece? It looks so amateur," she whispered just loudly enough for the wife of Eric's boss to hear. My cheeks burned with embarrassment as I smiled through the pain. The evening was supposed to showcase my culinary skills, but Patricia had brought her own appetizers. "Just in case," she'd said with a tight smile, placing them prominently on my carefully arranged table. As the guests mingled in our living room, Patricia cornered me in the kitchen. "Vanessa, I need you to show everyone those photos from Eric's college graduation," she said. I gritted my teeth, knowing she wanted to highlight her son's MBA, the same degree she constantly reminded me I didn't complete. "Patricia, I'm in the middle of preparing the main course. Can it wait until after dinner?" I asked. Her eyes narrowed as she adjusted her expensive cashmere sweater. "Are you saying my request isn't important? After all I've done for this family? These connections matter for Eric's career, something you clearly don't understand without a proper education," she said. I bit back a retort, knowing it would only make things worse. "Of course not. Just give me a few minutes to finish plating," I replied. Later that evening, as I served my carefully prepared dessert, Patricia hijacked the conversation. "Did you know Vanessa dropped out of design school? She had such potential," she said with a condescending smile, her fingers tapping on her phone. "I'm posting these lovely photos," she announced, though I noticed she only selected images where I was partially obscured or caught mid-speech. "Eric, make sure to share these on your feed. Your followers expect a certain image from a financial executive," she said. My stomach tightened as I realized she was editing my home's appearance in the photos, adding filters that made everything look more luxurious than it was. One particularly frustrating weekend, Patricia organized a surprise family brunch at our home, arriving 2 hours early. Vanessa. She called out, her voice grating on my already frayed nerves as I quickly closed my laptop where I'd been working on my blog. These design sketches were on the coffee table. What are these? Some sort of hobby? She asked. Before I could answer, she continued, I'm hungry. Make something impressive for the guests. Biting my tongue, I set aside my work and trudged to the kitchen. As I prepared a gourmet meal, she sat at the kitchen table, criticizing my every move while scrolling through her phone. You're using too much oil, she snapped. And for heaven's sake, cut those vegetables smaller. Don't you know how to cook properly? Here, let me post your cooking process, but I'll need to edit this significantly, she said. I placed the finished meal on the table just as the guests arrived. To my dismay, Patricia took credit for the menu planning. I guided her through the recipes, she told Eric's colleagues with a satisfied smile. Vanessa has such limited experience with proper entertaining, she mocked me. I stared at her in disbelief as she posted photos of my food with the caption, teaching my daughter-in-law the family recipes. #passing down traditions. But Patricia, I created these recipes myself for my food blog, I said quietly. Oh, you can always make more of those little online posts, she said dismissively. It's not like anyone important is reading them anyway, she said. As the guests finally left, I sank into a chair, feeling utterly defeated. I glanced at my phone, seeing Patricia had tagged me in 12 photos, all carefully angled to make me look like a minion rather than an accomplished cook in her own right. When Eric came home from his impromptu golf game, conveniently scheduled during the cleanup, he found me deleting Patricia's tags from my social media. What's going on? He asked, loosening his tie. Why do you look so upset? Mother says the brunch was a huge success. I explained what had happened, hoping for some understanding or support. Instead, Eric's face darkened. Mom organized this entire event for my career advancement and you're being ungrateful? She even posted about it on her influential friends' feeds. Ungrateful? I echoed, incredulous. Eric, she took credit for my recipes. She deliberately undermined me in front of your colleagues and called my design work a cute hobby. Eric shook his head, already composing a thank you post to his mother. You're exaggerating. Mom just wants to help our family image. Is that too much to ask? Not everyone has a famous furniture designer father to fall back on, he said. As I watched him carefully filter a photo where Patricia stood center with her arm around him, cropping me partially out of the frame, I couldn't help but feel a growing distance between us. Eric, once my high school sweetheart who had admired my creative spirit, now saw me only as an accessory to his curated online persona. One evening, Eric came home from work in a foul mood, his face red with anger as he slammed the front door behind him, nearly knocking over the antique vase I'd carefully positioned for my log. Vanessa. He bellowed, dropping his designer briefcase on my freshly polished hardwood floor. Your father is a tyrant, a despot. He humiliates people and uses them like pawns in his little game. And you're just like him with your artistic pretensions. She shouted. I was taken aback, my hand instinctively moving to close my laptop where I'd been working on a new furniture arrangement post. My father had always been fair and kind in my experience, though admittedly traditional in his business approach. What happened? I asked cautiously, noticing the veins pulsing at Eric's temples. Eric's eyes flashed with fury as he paced around our kitchen, deliberately knocking my design magazines to the floor. I implemented a revolutionary investment strategy today that would have doubled our client returns. Your father shot it down in front of everyone, embarrassing me. He said. And you know what your precious daddy did? He demoted me. Said there were inconsistencies in my reports. He continued. My mind reeled as I picked up my magazines. This didn't sound like my father at all. He valued innovation but was meticulous about ethics. There must be some mistake, I said, reaching for my phone. Let me talk to Dad and hear his side, I said. No. Eric roared, snatching my phone from my hand. His sudden movement made me flinch and step backward into the counter. You will not speak to your father. You will not speak to your mother. As far as we're concerned, they no longer exist for us. Do you understand? In fact, he said. He turned my phone over in his hand, his breathing heavy. I think it's time we addressed your privacy issues. That night, he installed monitoring software on my phone and computer, showing me how he could track every message, every search, every keystroke. For our family's protection, he explained with a tight smile. Trembling, I nodded, too shocked and scared to argue further. In the days that followed, Eric quit my father's company and announced he'd founded an investment advisory firm. He started earning well again, posting celebratory photos with champagne and new watches, but the incident had changed something fundamental in our relationship. The warmth and love I once felt for him was replaced by fear, resentment, and the constant awareness of being watched. Years passed, and our son Tyler grew up with artistic talents that reminded me of my own abandoned dreams. He often asked about his grandparents, especially when he discovered we owned the prestigious Morgan Craft furniture line he admired, but Eric would shut down any conversation about them. You have one grandmother, he would say firmly, scrolling through his social feeds while Patricia nodded in approval. My mother. That's all you need to know. Now focus on your business studies, art won't pay the bills. As Tyler prepared to leave for college, torn between the engineering program Eric demanded and the design school he secretly desired, I felt a mix of pride and sadness. My baby was growing up, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was losing the only ally I had in this house, the only one who'd seen my hidden sketchbooks and whispered, "Mom, these are amazing." Over the next few years, my life fell into a monotonous routine of social appearances and carefully orchestrated family photos. I catered to Eric's every whim, maintained his professional image online, and endured Patricia's constant criticism of my decorating, cooking, and parenting. Without Tyler as a buffer, their control over me grew even more oppressive, extending to approved clothing choices and pre-approved conversation topics for dinner parties. One afternoon, as I was updating my design portfolio while Patricia scrolled through my personal emails on her tablet, my phone chimed with a notification. I reached for it, but Patricia snatched it away with surprising speed for a woman in her 60s. I'll check it, she snapped, her reading glasses perched on her nose. You focus on finishing those table centerpieces for Eric's business dinner. This arrangement looks amateur, she said. I gritted my teeth and returned to my task, carefully arranging the flowers while seething inside. I couldn't help overhearing Patricia's voice change as she read my notification. Yes, this is Vanessa Reynolds' phone. Who? Her father. Franklin Morgan? Patricia's voice dripped with disdain. I'm sorry, but Vanessa isn't available to speak with you. Please don't contact her again. This family doesn't need your interference, she continued. My head snapped up, my heart suddenly racing. Wait. I called out, but Patricia had already blocked the number and deleted the notification. That was your father, she said coldly, placing my phone face down on the counter. I blocked his number. You should be thanking me for protecting this family from those toxic influences. He clearly doesn't respect Eric's position as head of this household, she said. I felt a surge of anger and frustration burning through my chest. You had no right to do that. He's my father. And that's my phone. I should have been allowed to speak to him. I said back. Patricia's eyes narrowed, her thin lips pressing together. You ungrateful little. Just then, Eric walked in, fresh from his golf game, phone in hand. What's going on here? He demanded, looking between us. Patricia immediately put on a hurt expression, her hand fluttering to her heart. Oh, Eric. Your wife is being so disrespectful to me, after all I do for this family. I was simply protecting your privacy by screening her calls, she said. Eric turned to me, his face dark with anger. Is this true, Vanessa? Are you disrespecting my mother? After she's helped plan of our social media strategy for months? He said. I opened my mouth to explain, but the words wouldn't come. I realized with a sinking heart that it didn't matter what I said. Eric would always take Patricia's side, and now they controlled all my communications. That evening, Eric installed a family location app that tracked my movements and set up notifications for when I used my phone. For safety, he insisted with a tight smile. A year passed since that intercepted message from my father. Life continued its suffocating routine, with Eric and Patricia's surveillance over me growing tighter by the day. My design blog sat abandoned after Eric discovered it and mocked my childish hobby. Then, on a crisp autumn morning, everything changed. My phone beeped with a hospital notification while I was preparing breakfast. Eric was in the shower, and Patricia hadn't arrived for her daily inspection of my meal preparation. For once, I was able to check my messages without interference. Hospital alert, Eleanor Morgan, patient number 347829, the message read, along with a private link. My fingers trembling, I clicked it. Vanessa? Is that you? Appeared in a secure chat window. It was my father's words. Your mother's cancer has progressed rapidly. The doctors don't think she has much time left. She needs you. We both do. She has something important to give you, it said. Just then, I heard the bathroom door open. Eric would be down any minute. I'll try, Dad. I promise I'll try, I typed quickly before deleting the conversation thread. When Eric entered the kitchen, I was fighting to compose myself, my hands shaky as I poured his coffee. Who were you messaging? He asked suspiciously, reaching for my phone. I took a deep breath, summoning courage I didn't know I still had. It was the hospital. My mother is very ill. Eric, she has terminal cancer. I need to go see her, I said. Eric's face hardened as he scanned through my deleted messages. Absolutely not. We've been through this, Vanessa. Your parents don't exist for us anymore. Besides, I've planned our anniversary photo shoot for tomorrow, he said as if it was a matter of course. I felt something snap inside me, like a dam breaking after years of pressure. For the first time in years, I stood up to him. I'm going, Eric. With or without your permission. She's my mother, and I won't let her die without saying goodbye. Some things are more important than social media appearances, I said strongly. Eric's jaw clenched, his knuckles whitening around my phone. Fine. One day. That's all you get. And then you come back home where you belong. But your phone stays here. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. One day was better than nothing. With shaking hands, I called my son Tyler from the landline and told him what was happening. To my surprise and relief, he immediately offered to accompany me, defying his father's standing orders about contact with my family. The next morning, Tyler and I set off for my childhood home. When we arrived, my father met us at the door, a leather portfolio tucked under his arm. He looked older than I remembered, grief etching deep lines in his face. Without a word, he pulled me into a tight embrace, slipping a USB drive into my pocket as he did so. He led us to my mother's room where she lay in bed, pale and frail, but her eyes lit up when she saw me. Vanessa, she whispered, reaching out a trembling hand adorned with the design ring I'd always admired. My beautiful, talented girl, she said. I rushed to her side, clasping her hand in mine, noticing her old sketchbook on the bedside table. Mom, I'm here. I'm so sorry. Can you ever forgive me for staying away so long? I asked. She smiled weakly, her artistic hands now thin and veined. There's nothing to forgive, sweetheart. I'm just glad you're here now. I've been following your little blog, you know. Before it disappeared, she said. We spent the day by her bedside, sharing memories and making up for lost time. She showed me her old design portfolios, work I'd never seen that had helped build Morgan Craft's reputation for elegance. As the sun began to set, my mother's breathing became labored. She pressed her sketchbook and design ring into my hands and looked into my eyes. Vanessa, she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper, promise me you'll reclaim your talent. Don't let anyone cage your creative spirit again. Your designs were always better than mine. Tears streamed down my face as I nodded, feeling both grief and a strange awakening. I promise, Mom. I promise. She smiled one last time, then closed her eyes. Her hand went limp in mine. She was gone, but somehow, I felt more alive than I had in years. Suddenly, my phone vibrated with notifications. I knew Eric was monitoring my location and bombarding me with messages. I answered his video call, moving to the hallway, feeling Dad's USB drive heavy in my pocket. Eric's face appeared, contorted with anger. Where the hell are you? You were supposed to be back hours ago. I've been tracking your location. You haven't left the hospital. I've already posted our condolences. It's time to come home. His voice, sharp with rage, cut through the line. Eric, I can't leave yet, I stammered, my voice thick with emotion. My mother just passed away. I need to stay for the funeral. Tyler wants to stay too. Absolutely not. He roared, his executive image cracking. I told you one day, and that's all you get. The Hendersons' charity gala is tomorrow, and we need those photographs. Our social presence depends on it. If you're not back tomorrow, don't bother coming back. And bring Tyler. His college interviews are this week, he said. His words hung in the air, a threat and promise all at once. For a moment, I was tempted to give in, to rush back to the prison I'd built. But then I glanced at my mother's design ring and remembered her last words, urging me to reclaim my talent. Fine, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. I'm staying. And so is Tyler. Some things are more important than appearances, I said. I ended the call before he could respond, my heart pounding. I had defied Eric for the first time, and it was both terrifying and exhilarating. That night, my father and I examined the USB drive. It was spreadsheets showing Eric's investment fraud using Morgan-Craft funds. The next few days passed in a blur of grief and preparations. At the funeral, as we stood around my mother's grave, my Instagram notifications pinged relentlessly. Eric had tagged me in posts about us supporting my wife through her loss with our wedding photos. Then came a private message, "This is your final warning." Just as the minister concluded the service, my phone rang. Eric's number flashed on screen. Without thinking, I answered on speaker to silence it. Eric's voice, loud and angry, burst forth for all to hear. "Vanessa, this is your last chance." He yelled. "My mother is devastated by your betrayal. If you don't come home right now, I'll drag you back myself. After everything I've done. I've already drafted our separation announcement. One click and it goes live." I quickly ended the call, my face burning with shame and anger. The mourners looked shocked, and Tyler's face was a mask of fury. My father looked concerned. He pulled me aside after the service. "Vanessa," he said gently, "I think it's time you saw everything." We walked to a quiet corner of the cemetery, and my father took a deep breath. "Sweetheart, there's something else you need to know about Eric. Something I should have told you years ago, but your mother insisted we let you make your own choices," he said. I listened in stunned silence as my father revealed why Eric had really left Morgan-Craft. It wasn't because Eric was angry at my father. It was because my father caught him creating fake client accounts, falsifying returns, and skimming funds. "I fired him to protect the company and clients," my father explained, showing me documents on his tablet. "I didn't press charges because I thought you loved him. But now, hearing how he speaks to you, seeing what your life has become with his surveillance and control, I can't stay silent," he said. I felt as if the ground had opened beneath my feet. All these years, I had believed Eric's lies, let him cut me off from my family, endured his and Patricia's abuse, abandoned my design career, all based on a lie. "There's more," my father continued, his voice grave. "I recently received information from the SEC. Eric's firm is under federal investigation. There are major discrepancies in client reporting," he said. "The very techniques he used at Morgan-Craft, but on a larger scale. That's why he's controlling your communications. He's afraid you'll discover something," he continued. As his words hit me, I felt a strange mix of despair and liberation. The life I knew was crumbling, but from its ashes, I saw a chance for a new beginning, one where my designs could finally breathe. The day after the funeral, my father, Tyler and I returned to collect my design portfolios. We were shocked to find Patricia's friends crowding the house, with a professional photographer setting up equipment in our living room for a social media photoshoot. Patricia spotted us, her eyes narrowing as she sipped champagne. "Well, look who finally decided to grace us with her presence," she said, her voice dripping with contempt. "You're late, Vanessa. Eric's business feature photo shoot started an hour ago, she said. We need the dutiful wife and son for the family success story. Thrusting a makeup kit into my hands, she snapped, start fixing your appearance. You look terrible, she laughed. The supportive family shot is in 10 minutes. My father erupted, how dare you speak to my daughter that way? She's not a prop in your social media fiction. She's a talented designer who deserves respect. He said. Patricia laughed. Designer? Without a degree? She gave up any career when she married my son. We've already removed those amateur sketches she was hiding, she said. My blood ran cold seeing my studio door ajar. Suddenly, Eric burst in wearing an expensive suit. What's going on? Vanessa, why aren't you camera ready? He asked. Something inside me snapped. No, Eric, I said, my voice steady as I held up my mother's design ring. I'm not posing for any more fake family photos, I said. I know why you left Morgan Craft, and I have evidence of your investment fraud. I want a divorce, I said strongly. Eric snarled, take your divorce, but don't think you'll get a penny. I made this family. He shouted. I laughed, feeling truly free. This house is mine. The deed is in my name. You need to leave. And the SEC will be very interested in these financial records, I said. Eric and Patricia flinched at my words. Then they straight to pack up their minimum belongings and left house. As they stormed out, I collapsed on the couch, exhausted yet exhilarated. Tyler spoke up, Mom, why didn't you tell me things were so bad? I thought I was protecting you, I said, meeting eyes that reflected my creative spirit. But I was teaching you the wrong lessons. No relationship should require burying who you truly are, I said. In the weeks that followed, my life transformed dramatically. The divorce proceedings began as I revived my dormant design career, creating an online portfolio under my maiden name that made my heart race with newfound freedom. My father stood firmly beside me, his unwavering support filling me with strength I'd forgotten I possessed. One afternoon in his study, surrounded by Mom's old sketchbooks, Dad surprised me. Vanessa, he said, his voice gentle but serious, I've been thinking about Morgan Craft's future. Our designs have stagnated since your mother stepped back. How would you feel about heading a new design division? My pulse quickened. Me? But Dad, I don't have a design degree, I said. He chuckled, pointing to my sketches with pride in his eyes. Neither did I when I started. You have your mother's talent. It's time you spread those creative wings, he encouraged me. Over the next months, I immersed myself in the business while developing my first collection, discovering a passion for sustainable design that lit a fire within me. Meanwhile, Eric fought the divorce viciously, launching legal battles and social media attacks that made my stomach churn with anxiety. Justice finally prevailed. I kept the house and received compensation for years of abuse, while Eric faced federal fraud charges that shattered his carefully crafted online persona. Patricia faded from my life like a bad dream, retreating to Arizona after her role in Eric's schemes was exposed. 2 years passed quickly, filled with design success and watching Tyler flourish. Then one Sunday, Dad called me to his office. Vanessa, he said heavily, I'm not well. The doctors are concerned about my heart, he said. Tears filled my eyes as I grasped his hand. Dad, no, I said. He squeezed back gently. It's okay. I'm retiring and the board has approved you as creative director. You'll honor the Morgan legacy while making it truly yours, he said. His health stabilized with treatment, and though retired, he attended every showcase, his face beaming with pride as he told everyone, my daughter designed that. The news of my father's retirement and my promotion at Morgan Craft spread quickly through design circles. I was sketching when the studio door chimed, revealing Eric with expensive roses and a rehearsed apologetic expression. Vanessa, he said softly, I'm sorry about everything. May I come in? I've seen your furniture line in design today. It's impressive. Warily, I let him enter my showroom, an awkward silence hanging between us as he eyed my design awards. I've been thinking about us, Eric finally said calculatingly. I made mistakes, but I've changed. My mother passed last month. My new business ventures are taking off, and I could market your designs. Before I could respond, the studio door opened, and Nathan walked in with an architect's portfolio. "Vanessa, darling, I brought the renderings for Chicago," he called, stopping when he saw Eric. "Who the hell is this?" Eric demanded, his facade cracking. "I'm Nathan Winters, Vanessa's husband and design partner," he said, extending his hand professionally. Eric ignored it, rage distorting his face. "Husband? What the hell, Vanessa? After all our history." Nathan stepped between us, voice measured. "I suggest you leave now. We're aware of your history, both personal and financial." When Eric lunged forward, Nathan caught his arm and escorted him out. "Stay away from Vanessa and Morgan Craft, or the rest of the SEC documents go public." After Eric left, Nathan turned to me with concern. "Are you okay?" Tyler texted me. I stepped into his embrace, feeling genuine safety. "I'm fine. I'm glad you're here." I smiled, touching our matching designer wedding bands. "And I'm glad you waited for me. I've loved you since high school design class," Nathan said, kissing my forehead. "Now, tell me about this bedroom collection." "The curves are magnificent." Standing in Nathan's arms amid my design samples, I marveled at how life had come full circle. Nathan and I had been high school sweethearts before Eric came into the picture, and after my divorce, we reconnected at a design conference where our old feelings and professional passions aligned. We married in a quiet ceremony at my father's lake house, the arch adorned with pieces from my first Morgancraft collection. My phone buzzed with a text from Tyler, "Mom. Got accepted to Rhode Island School of Design with full scholarship. Bringing someone special home this weekend." I showed Nathan, my heart bursting with pride. My New Beginnings furniture collection won acclaim, while Tyler flourished in design school, sometimes contributing to our seasonal collections. Nathan's architectural firm now collaborates with Morgan Craft, and together we launched Morgan Winters Design Studios, mentoring young designers from disadvantaged backgrounds. One evening, around our dining table, a prototype from my latest collection, I looked at our blended family sharing ideas and laughter. I quietly took an unfiltered photo and posted it with a simple caption, "The real success story." No staging, no false narrative, just authentic joy and creative spirits finally free to soar.